Money, 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 money. Cash rules everything around me. We are talking money. We're talking money in the bank. It's prime time. So that means we're talking wrestling. This is the nation of conversation. This is the excellence of non execution. This is the place where we don't need to lie, cheat, or steal. This is the Three Amigos Show podcast, y'all.
Yeah.
If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Let me fix my camera a little bit. It's your first time tuning in, welcome. If you're back, welcome back. We love to have you. We love you joining the nation of conversation. First things first, I am very happy I took this back. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm super, super excited. I actually had an emotional reaction that I wasn't expected to have, but we're going to talk about that. First and foremost, as always, there's no shook hands in Brooklyn. If you don't know me, you will. I am the voice and the people's choice. I am the brilliant, bright, and always willing to fight. I am Brandon. How y'all doing this week, fellas?
So,
Definitely like hate hearing my feedback, but how y'all doing?
amazing.
That's good. That's good. Second amigo, he's repping Flatbush to the fullest. Thank God he's here today. You know what was going to happen on Friday, but he's here. He's the grand opening and the grand closing. He's Mr. High Profile himself. He is the Panamanian God. He is the Mesha King. How you doing,
Yes.
Mashup?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a Sunday and we are here live in full effect like a Uptown Connect.
Oh my God. Yes, we definitely are. That's synonymous for a lot of reasons. And third, and certainly not least, he's our third amigo. He's lyrical. He's miracle. He's spiritual. He's criminal. He's minimal. He's bare minimum. Aluminum bars. He's the host, formerly known as Diesel Washington. He is Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel. What's good, Sour Diesel? How are you this week?
Doing Randy.
That's good. Oh wow, that's the way to bring the energy up. Well, fellas, we want y'all to join in the conversation. Nation of conversation. If you don't already, subscribe, like, share, comment. So much to talk about, like always. So little time. Cash rules everything around us. What we gonna talk about, y'all? It's time to talk wrestling. What you
All
got on
right.
the docket for us, Mash Out?
Okay, we got a lot to talk about tonight because first of all, we had not one but two PLEs in one day, both from the same company, which is actually not a common thing except when we have an NXT event in a regular WWE PLE. But nonetheless, we had WWE Worlds Collide this
Yes.
weekend, right? So after the acquisition that the WWE made with AAA, they could put a pay-per-view, well, PLE together. I thought it was an amazing show. You know what I'm saying? I caught it actually, while driving. And, at one point I had to stop and pull over and say, wow, it's a great show and what have you. Fellas, before we jump into the topic of the evening, Worlds Collide, what was your feelings?
It was a good show. Amazing. I liked it for what it was worth. That what was that match? The Legato Familiar match. That was a good match. I liked that match.
It
And
was.
I wasn't familiar with the Misty Iguana guy, but wow, guess he's amazing out there. So it was a good show all in all. I liked
I mean,
Brandon,
I
what you got?
thought that triple. This isn't like the first Worlds Collide. This is like one of the first Worlds Collide where it really combined like Triple A and then the NXT and WWE superstars, high octane, high action, as you would always expect in lucha libre wrestling. But seeing them kind of put it in the WWE format, but still keeping it to its roots was really dope. The whole ceremonial thing in the beginning, at first I was like, They had the Kia Forum. Why we have the mariachi band here? But it is to pay respects. It was an anniversary to the first show, and also pay respects to the Mexican culture. So that was pretty dope, and I really enjoyed the show. Iguana was the star of the show. Who would have thought? You know, a puppet in 2025 would be. I mean, the iguana would be so entertaining. I actually enjoyed the. I do not know how to say his name. The AAA World Champion.
Oh,
Bontango.
yeah,
Yeah,
Bontango.
him
yeah,
and Grande America Chad Gable. I mean, my bad. Excellent match. Excellent match. I was watching like how many times could this man could have possibly got a concussion or something in this match and was
yeah.
still going. So I tip my hat of good action from beginning to end. I don't think that they disappointed at all. They almost had the main roster for Money in the Bank probably on their tippy toes. Like, yo, we in this into it, no, we better do something tomorrow. So it was a definitely good show if I had to, in my
No,
opinion.
I thought it was an amazing show from open to close. I mean, of course, like you said, the mariachi band. You know, Rey Mysterio. You know, opening up the the show.
Okay.
They got they got you know, I don't this the lady that's the I guess she's the president or she was the wife of the president.
She looked
I
like a
don't
porcelain doll, right?
yeah, very you know, I don't want to say anything bad because I know our show, you know, reaches a ton of different audiences and things like that. So I don't want to be I rather save my critique for after we all talk together about what I thought about how she looks.
Hmm.
Because even
Very
when I saw
more, very morticianary.
yes,
Like
yes,
she's in the casket already.
yeah. And it was like, you know, I'm not gonna do it. You guys are baiting me. You two fucks are baiting me, and I'm trying my best not to do it. I'm not
Elmo,
doing it. I'm
enough.
not
That's
doing it.
enough.
I'm not.
She looks unalive.
Mhm. You know what? Shouts to all the Mexican people. You know, it's a beautiful country, and
It wasn't in Mexico. It was in LA.
I,
But she's
no,
Mexican. I don't know.
thanks, thank you. You know,
I
these are.
think we got a new stat guy on this show.
I think we do have one. You know.
If only they checked their stats. But go ahead.
Anyhow, now moving on to all right. Uh, you know, moving on to Money in the Bank 2025. I mean, incredible show. I do like the idea of it to being two in one day because it was a wrestling Saturday, you know, so that was always a positive. I mean, you know, look, we're gonna break down match by match this evening, guys, you know, and we'll go from there. So the first match of the night I'm gonna go with is the women's Money in the Bank. All right, which featured Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaker, sorry, Julia, and with Naomi and Roxanne Perez. All right. Any thoughts on this match?
Okay, I'll start out since Dean started out on the Triple H. First things first. Again, I love when the women. First of all, to me, the women's Money in the Bank match was who had a stacked deck better than the men's to me. Like the competitors and the contestants and the women one had like elite people to me. Like you had the prodigy Roxanne Perez, you had Julia, you had Stephanie Vacure, you had mommy Rhea Ripley, you had Naomi, who was my choice to even win. So I was definitely excited. That was the first emotion I had for the night was when Naomi won because everything that Big E said at the beginning of the post show when Naomi was sitting there is everything that I feel about her. Like just watching her rise to the top and going through different things, with the charges and having to go to TNA and kind of feeling like she taking the seat back and then to climb up the rungs to the ladder and grab the Money in the Bank. The spots was freaking awesome.
Yes.
I really, 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 really like Roxanne Perez. Not that I didn't already, but to me, it shows that in this match between the Royal Rumble, this and the
Hmm.
Elimination Chamber, that she's definitely in the right place. She's not
Hmm.
somebody that they're just pushing for the help, the sake of it. The girl's been wrestling since she was two. Not really. I know, not really two for the fact checkers out there. But I'm just saying, she's been wrestling since she's been in diapers. And it really, really, really shows. I was highly impressed with all the women. Shouts out to the winner, Naomi. Again, that was my pick anyway. Fellas,
Big
what you
Daddy
doing?
Cool Sour Diesel. What you got, baby?
But yeah, yeah, Naomi was. Well, I think that was in all of our picks because when we did the predictions. Um.
Hmm? I guess.
So yeah. So that match, what stood out to me was it was the then, now, and forever. You know, it was like first of all, it was all NXT girls, so that was kind of a plus for that. Seeing the new generation of talent. Uh, some of the spots to me was kind of sloppy. Um, very happy for Naomi winning the match. That was who we all rooted for. I'm glad to see that she get that win, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she'll do going forward, getting
Right.
the briefcase winner.
Okay. Okay. That is.
Hope that wasn't long-winded enough.
No,
Listen.
but it was pretty fucking slow. But go ahead, press fast forward. Go on.
Listen. Let me just say something. The palm trees are palming tonight, baby. But nonetheless, I would say that on the match, it was energetic. It was
It was
high
good.
flying. There was a
Good
lot
match.
of sloppy moves, but that is to be expected because some people are still green. When it comes to being in the main. Shouts to Naomi again for winning that match. I'm going to move right on to one of Brandon's favorites, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the women's WWE Intercontinental Championship. Brandon thoughts with the first time. Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel, what you got for us, baby? What'd you think
I
about
really
this?
liked the match. It was really good, explosive. Lyra Valkyria, she really showed her ass in this match, and can't wait to see what she got going for her.
That was good. That's more like it. Appreciate it. Wow, that was so quick and fast. Yes, press fast forward real quick.
Brandon
I
thoughts.
don't give a fuck about pleasing you.
I know. I know.
Mm-mm.
Next, but we do have an audience, so you might want to please them. It's not about me here. The thing is not about me. What it is about was Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. I'll be happy when this rivalry is over. I think that it was definitely dope to have Becky to like really stick it to her at the end. I want to give Becky credit for even staying in character and showing us a new version of what kayfabe is at the post show and like just keeping up how people were so disrespectful. The irony of it all. I thought that was really, the match was, it was okay. It was a little longer than what I expected. I also want to shout out Stephanie Valkyrie for I know she's in the previous match for fighting twice in one day. That had to be crazy, right? So it was okay. New Intercontinental champion, new champions, new rivals.
Let me say this. You know, at this point, how many times we gonna get Becky Lynch, the belts? This woman, you know, I just look. I was good, happy about the match, not happy about Becky winning because I said, how many times this woman gonna get something? You know
She's
what I'm
never
saying?
had the Intercontinental.
I understand, but I just felt at the end of the day that it was just too much. I said, come on now. I didn't want this woman to win at all, at all, at all, at all. All right. Nonetheless, we're gonna move on to the men's Money in the Bank match, which featured Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Andrade, Penta, and
Skip the match.
What happened with Dom?
sorry about that. I um
The
let's go.
impromptu match.
Let's go to the Intercontinental Championship. All right, random thoughts. You went last the last time. Go ahead.
Well, I think with Dominic Mysterio is we see the layers again like a banana. They peel off, and I remember him saying in an interview like if he always did like all these different type of moves like the lucha libre, people would always expect it. So when he does bust out and like does a move, it's like wow. And I think Dominic is showing that he is one of the most versatile wrestlers on the rosters. He had like maybe last year the most matches ever. So shouts out to Dominic retaining the Intercontinental Championship. I wasn't sure if they was gonna make to really cross it over and make the worlds collide, make the Intercontinental title go over the Triple A, but Dominic retained and thought it was an actually dope match. He did his thing.
What you got, Dave?
Oh, what I liked about the match, the Octagon nigga. I like how they keep in the lucha libre tradition that it's always somebody that's like somebody else. You know what I mean? Comparing him looking like Pentagon. I mean Penta. I'm sorry. Um, him resembling Penta. Uh, Dominic, he is doing a phenomenal job. He's really
Mhm.
coming into his character. I'm loving the work that he's been doing. The match really wasn't. I don't think it was really about the match. I think it was really about Dominic's character work in that match, and he did a phenomenal job. So shouts out to that match, and shout out to Octagon Junior. Shout out to him.
All right.
He was
Same.
impressive.
I'm going to echo everybody and say the same thing. Dominic Mysterio was impressive in that match last night. I think that he definitely showed out. He showed out. He showed that he has versatility in terms of wrestling style. So I think it was phenomenal. All right. And also congratulations again to him for retaining the title. Now, going to the men's Money in the Bank match. All right. We have Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Andrade, Penta, and El Grande Americano. All right. Big Daddy Cool.
Every man stood out in this match except for Andrade. He tried as much as he can, and I give him a E for effort. Solo Sokoa. Oh my gosh. He was the highlight of the night. Well, the
Yes.
highlight of the match for me. Of what else we got? Oh my gosh. I'm not happy with the winner of the match.
Me neither.
I go with that.
Me neither.
I go with that. I was happy with the match overall. I wanted to see someone else win it, perhaps LA Knight, but the winner being Seth Rollins, I was not happy with that decision. That fucked me up with that.
It fucked me up too, brother. Brandon, thoughts?
It didn't fuck me, but
Up. Fuck me up.
it would. I felt like the storyline they was telling the whole time was for Seth Rollins to win, and this whole world domination was for Seth Rollins to win. He was my pick too when we didn't do prediction. I thought I'm gonna have to agree with Sour Diesel. Everyone had dope spots. They did their thing in the match. Besides Andrade, I expected a whole lot more. Maybe sometimes certain participants and wrestlers is who they're in the ring with. Like maybe if he had, an Aleister Black or Carmelo Hayes to feed off of, he would have did a little bit more in the match. However, the match was decent. I still think the women's match shined a little bit better. Of course, Jacob Fatu coming out and doing what he did to Solo Sikoa. We saw the writings on the wall. Told a good story. We see another layer within this bloodline story. So it's pretty dope.
D, what you got? Because you look like you had to say something.
I want you to go, and then we're gonna go back to the Seth
All right.
Rollins.
So, all right. So let me say this. I did not want Seth Rollins to win. Okay, I did not want Seth Rollins to win. Seth, as much as his wife, keeps getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I didn't see how this would benefit. Now, I'm not doing the writing in the company, but I did not see how this would benefit him actually going anywhere. Like I said, this should went to someone else. I'm going to lean on the side of David, and I'm sorry, D, and say LA Knight. That's who I really thought should have won this match. I said he needed it. Now, to tell the story with Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu actually is the main guy of the night. That's who I believe was that guy stood out at this match. The reason being is the storytelling from watching from SmackDown, him overhearing, what Solo Sikoa was saying, that said that, this guy's all gas and no brains instead of all gas and no brakes. Hearing that to the moment in time when he came out, and to save Solo Sikoa, and from when Braun Breaker and I can't remember the other guy now.
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed came out. To save him from them, phenomenal. He looked that he had, by busting everybody's ass, and then after that, getting Solo hyped, and then the look on Solo's face going up the ladder. Come on, this is too easy. This is too easy. The look of him going up the ladder, and then Jacob Fatu says, "Solo, I hate you. You know, I think was a phenomenal part of the night. Solo took that ladder bump very well. You know what I mean? And guess what? And you know what? It was an easier pill to swallow seeing Seth won with Solo and Jacob, doing that whole move inside the match. But we're going back again to Big Daddy Cool Sour Diva. What you got?
It goes back to my question last week of how many times do we need to see Seth Rollins at the helm of this? Like he did not need to win that briefcase. He could have got what he wanted any other way. You have Paul Heyman. Don't he break the deals for you? He's your wise man. I don't think that was the wise man. Like no. No. We have to go into a new direction. What direction are we getting with Seth Rollins?
Mm-hmm.
What direction are we getting with Seth Rollins? How is he the future of wrestling when motherfucker you been here already? You did it already. You
He
didn't
done
get
did
it
it
to the
all.
you done did it all and you didn't get it to the heights. This is based off of jealousy. He don't want to be done until he gets to the CM Punk levels and in the Roman Reigns levels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can see that. I can see that.
But him winning that briefcase was not the way. He could have got his opportunities any other way. We got
Night of Champions.
the Night of Champions King of the Ring tournament coming.
Mm-hmm.
He could have did that. Or is that in line for LA Knight since he didn't win the what you would call it, the briefcase.
He loved
I
being
just
in
didn't I just
tournaments.
didn't right. I just didn't want to see Seth Rollins winning this.
Right. And you know what? And again, like to piggyback of what you were saying, it just didn't make sense. It wasn't needed. It was not needed. You did not need to see this man in the main event picture in terms of the pay-per-view again. You know what I mean? I get it. I get it completely. You know, they feel that Steph is going to be able with the angle working with Bronson Reed and also Braun Breaker. He's going to get everybody to the next level. I get that point. But he doesn't need to necessarily be the money in the bank holder because this is not 2015 all over again. It's not that.
I feel like the reason why Seth Rollins got it over someone like LA Knight is because if LA Knight gets it, he's, a white hot face right now. It's kind of obvious who he'll cash in on within the year. I think with Seth Rollins, it kind of leaves a mystery, He has, unfinished business in the history with with John Cena. He has, issues in the history with wanting to be the world champion again, which Jey Uso currently holds the title to. So it creates that whole, who is he going to cash in on? You know what I mean? So I think that's probably the most plausible reason why it went on Seth. But I mean, I can mirror you guys' sentiments or like put it on somebody new because we want, but I always feel like the Money in the Bank goes on a heel anyway. It's like a heel thing to do. And LA
Right.
Knight is kind of like a face. So, I mean, let him earn it. So when he wins, he gets, the pop and things of that nature. But I can see where y'all coming from. I don't negate it.
Now, let me also say this. Solo Sikoa, he did also a phenomenal promo Friday night as well.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in the ring with Seth Rollins. Yeah, and he said, "Well, Seth, it looks like you have your own bloodline here."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Who are you supposed to be?
You know what I'm saying? I
He's really coming into
listen, this guy, to be honest with you, is the most entertaining person on SmackDown.
Agreed. 100%.
Frankly, to a certain extent, he's carrying the show. So, I think that I'm really super proud of him. I wasn't a big fan of him in the beginning.
Yeah,
but
we
now,
had to convince you.
But now this guy is definitely turning into something. So I give him the props for that.
and
All right.
and it also gives the people like, okay, when there was doubting what would he do because Jacob is going to be the biggest star to him. So it don't leave him behind on nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He's
Seth
still
said
something.
it, right, in the promo?
Sorry?
I said Seth said it in the promo on Friday. Like, you're just upset that the next
Yeah.
big star isn't you.
Yeah.
But guess what? At the same token, the guy actually is holding it down. So you got to give him credit where credit
They're
is
feeding
due.
off each other.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get to the main event. Wow. A main event. Let me tell you something. Storytelling was at its best in this match tonight. Last night, excuse me. The Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul. So let me say something interesting before we get into that match. The fact that Cody Rhodes came out first, right? And I said that he gave props to Jey Uso with that. You know what I mean? The idea that he came out first and then let Jey Uso come out, because I thought it was going to be the opposite way around, that Jey Uso was going to come out first in that. And I also initially thought the heels were going to come out first. All right. So before anything, I'm going to let Brandon thoughts you started off. What was your thoughts on the match and everything like that? And then we'll break down the whole R-Truth moment.
Well, I'll allude to even like the entrances, right? Cody's not a champion. Yes, he's, the face of the company, but he's not a champion. Jey Uso, as Paul Heyman has recently stated, Jey Uso is the number one top seller merch. Number one, really putting the butts in the seats, even if it's just for people to come and do, yeet or whatever the case may be. But he's the number one mover, so I expected him to come out late. I also think Cena coming out last made sense because it's one of Cena's last times, right? He's going to be, in LA or in the area. He has the top WWE World Championship. So not the World Champion, the Heavyweight Championship. So I figured he would come out last. Match was actually really, really good. I liked when John Cena and Logan Paul's egos, it's like two big egos was like so inflated that it kind of started clashing in the match. I thought that it was good. What I'm not a fan of is this overly like brotherly thing that Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso have. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, but overall it was a good match.
Who do you think is the fake one of the two? If you had to say,
You already know who I'm going to say is the fake one. Cody
Cody
Rhodes.
Rhodes. I know
Cody Rhodes! Cody
I
Rhodes!
mean, but they were tag team champions before,
I
so
know.
It was
But
like for a week
I
though.
don't believe it.
I mean, I believe it. The match was decent. It was good storytelling in the match. Uh, Logan Paul, oh my gosh, the spots he took in that match when he did the outside Asahi moonsault
So,
onto the announcement table, and when he did the suplex with the camera in his hand, that was phenomenal. He always stepped his game up in all his matches, I think. Uh, what else? Cody Rhodes. He disgusts me. I
Mhm.
hated his hair. It was like too bleachy. I was like, damn motherfucker, who you think you was? This nigga thought he was Sting? He thought he was Sting. He was face paint away from being Sting in the 80s. I swear to you not.
So you thought Surface thing came back?
Yes, yeah. Cody, what the fuck? But yeah, overall good match. And then you know what happened? And we gonna all collaborate with that one all at once. Yeah, man.
So I loved the match. I thought it was entertaining. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was really entertaining. I really thought so. I thought that everybody there showed out, and did their thing. I'm not even gonna lie. I think everybody, took their spots. Like Brandon was saying earlier, when it came to Cena and Logan Paul, that was entertaining. Okay, watching them break it down. And he's like, and Cena's like, I'm trying to teach
show
you.
you. I'm
I'm
trying to
trying to
teach.
well, teach me then. I
Look
think,
at these two niggas.
yo, I said this is very entertaining. This thing broke down very fast. Logan Paul, I don't know if it was intentional when he was supposed to do like the buckshot lariat. I know that's not the move that is called, but when he fell and then he got the super kick, from there, I thought that was entertaining as well. But nonetheless, with all of that, I thought that, and that Cena was going to cheat to win. So it comes back down to what ended up happening. We had somebody mysteriously from the crowd, came in and speared All right, in
Was it
spirit.
really? Was it really that mysterious?
It was
What's
until the back of the sweater came up and they saw the black person.
once you see the back and once you see the ankles,
Yeah,
I was like,
once you
oh
saw
yeah,
the black
good.
person, you knew who it was. I think that this might go down as one of R-Truth's best moments in professional wrestling history. Anybody wants to take it, what their thoughts were on that
He th-
scene, Ron
he
Killing's back.
he thought he was slick, and they probably thought it was like, oh yeah, maybe if I throw the ups on in the black hoodie, you're gonna think it's a Uso. But I was like, what Uso's gonna jump in this? It don't make no damn sense. You know what I mean? Wow. Oh, seeing our truth back was really it was a happy moment. It was a happy moment for me. It was like, did it work? Did the voice of the people of the WWE universe, of fuck it, even the wrestling universe, the IWC, did we make this happen?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to that is yes, we did it. We finally did it. Good to see our truth back. Ron Killings. You know what I mean?
Random, what's up?
I mean, I thought the moment was definitely good how they did the storytelling because the match already had its own inner workings with storytelling, and then to add the component to reveal that Ron Killings is back. I'm really looking forward to seeing what layer of his character we're gonna see. Is he literally gonna beat the heel out of Cena and make Cena be face at the end? Because that has been his proclamation, is that he is gonna make sure that Cena, he's going to beat the hustle, loyalty, and respect into Cena. And it seems like Ron Killings is on that journey. I kind of want to see him get grimy. We saw him be, really silly. We see him, have the image and, speak to little Jimmy. We seen him kind of be healed before. We seen him in the Awesome Truth. I kind of want to see just one more layer of our truth where he really, really get to wreck and shot. But that moment was definitely dope. Ron Killen shared like people's reactions, and it's crazy that a lot of people's reaction was universal to that. Like, who's this? And then when they see the hoodie go up, they're like, it's somebody black.
Yeah.
And then initially, oh shit, it's our truth. And then, with them playing on, it was because we're the ones who really asked for our truth. They had to mute the, we want truth, we want the truth. Even us on this show as a part of the IWC champion and wanting our truth to be back around. Just an all around dope moment. Just dope. Good way to end Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank always kind of has a surprise, right? Wasn't that the same pay per view
Mm-hmm.
Cena returned after Roman had won the one time and Cena
Mm-hmm.
came back at Money in the Bank? It's always Money
Mm-hmm.
in the Bank that has like these surprises. So it was dope. What you
Um,
thought of it, match out?
all right, I can't be talking on loud. I would say that it was amazing. I was happy to see R-Truth. I was thrilled to see R-Truth because the week before we done buried Triple H last week. We done buried the man, and the fact that he's back just goes to show you the power of the fans. There's also a rumor that the whole week R-Truth did not take calls from the WWE about coming back. That it was Nick Khan that reached out to him personally and said for him to come back. That they try to send other executives to speak to him, and unfortunately, he did not. He didn't answer the phone till Nick Khan reached out to him. So I think that him coming back, and they only signed the deal. They said 72 hours before the pay-per-view. So this may have not have even happened at all. But at the press conference, when the reporter asked Triple H, what was it that brought R-Truth back, and he said, "You're enjoying the show." Uh, it's all a part of the show. And then I also said in response, if my mother had balls, she'd be my father. Because the fact is that there's no reason. That's bullshit, Triple H. There's no reason for you to think that, for us to think for a second that this was a work. This was not a work. Because if usually things are a work, when somebody comes out and say something, but this was everybody was, that means that you had everybody in on it. Okay. For that to be a work, that means that everybody and their mother was in on R-Truth being released from the organization. And if that's the case, that means that we might see Carlito return again, because that may be a work as well. But I don't see no outcry for Carlito. Nonetheless, I think it was an amazing thing to see him come back last night. I was excited. I jumped up on him. I said, yes, that's what we're supposed to do. You brought him back there, and also, they must have been listening to our show last week, because they realized the black wrestling count was definitely down, right, without him being there. So I think that somebody was actually listening to our show. Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel. So last week when we were discussing everything with R-Truth and what have you, and you were praying that this was a work, right? You were praying that, how did you feel after the fact, that now this is not a work, and this was the man just signed 3 days before?
Was it me? Was it me, or was it Brand?
No, it was you. You were the person that was praying that it was a work. You was hoping that yeah.
Whew. There's a lot of things to think here. A lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And one being thought of is when we say a work, right? Then Triple H says what he says and try to curve us, you know. But then you have R-Truth tweeting out no work, right? And it kind of make you feel Triple H really is about to be on his way out, because this kind of, for me, it kind of like it's kind of throwing him under the bus too, right there too, ain't it? You don't feel like it, with the things with the Rock and now this. I'm just happy to see R-Truth is back, and if it was the power of us from the IWC, I wonder what else can we do. You know what I mean? Like, if he's listening, then we have a lot more to say, and you need to listen a lot more than to just that, because we've been screaming out for the roof of our lungs for a very long fucking time. I don't know what it is that they're doing over there. Maybe they got Triple H in handcuffs, or maybe they finally see the power that we have, and going forward we'll see some changes. I'm hoping within that, right? And that's what I got for that.
Random thoughts before I move on to the next one. Just one last, let you close out the segment on Money in the Bank. Just literally iconic moment, right? The whole thing, iconic moment. Where do you see it going with Ron Killings? No more R-Truth. Where do you see it going with Ron Killings? I know you said earlier maybe he'll beat the heel out of Cena, but where do you see Ron Killings? And do you see something in the future, down the road for him?
Well, first of all, I hope that I'm happy that Tony Khan went in the back closet, or TKO, who seems to be having money issues, I heard.
Nick Khan.
Word on the Khan. Oh, yeah, Nick Khan. I'm sorry, one of the Khans. They found money in the back for R-Truth, because the original deal, because remember what we spoke about last week was the deal, being on the table, and that they did offer him a deal that just wasn't really what his worth was. So I'm happy whatever the negotiations was, that they were able to settle upon a number. But what do I see from Ron Killings? One, he's changing the name, right? Maybe we'll get a different theme song. Maybe we'll get some sort of a title run, right? Like, maybe he'll get something. Maybe it might not be, he'll have the title for 6 months or whatever title it is. Maybe this comes with him having an actual valid rivalry with John Cena before John Cena is out of here. So that's what I kind of see the future for Ron Killings. And if he wants to move on, he can continue to have the issue with Logan Paul. He can have issues with, the individuals who's kind of aligned themselves with Cena.
Okay.
So that's what I kind of see with Ron Killings in the future.
All right, we put a button on that, and we moving on. So, Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel brought up a very good point, right? He said it shows the sign that Triple H may be on his way out. So, rumor has it that Triple H is on his way out. That TKO is not impressed with Triple H. Now, we don't know obviously that to be the case, but I mean, that's just a rumor. However, Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel, Triple H in, Triple H out. What do you think it should be?
This is a hard decision for me because if I say out, who else is gonna step up to the plate that has that knowledge, that set up in events and really learned from greatness? Who else gonna have the passion like Triple H? I think Triple H has it. It's just it's I think he's handcuffed. He's handcuffed. They don't want him to be great. And if he is handcuffed, is he going to give us what we expect of him? I need to see people that represent me pushed more, right? I need to see new faces, new title runs for the new faces. I need to see things like that. So I feel like he still has some more to show us. So maybe within that 18 months he can turn things around. But if he can't, then damn.
Right, right. Random thoughts. Triple H in, Triple H out.
Well, I call him Papa H, so I would say Triple H is in. I just think it's like when you go to a restaurant and you love this chef, right? And no matter what you order off the menu, you tend to like what the chef makes. In one particular time, maybe a time or two, you went to the restaurant, you don't like the food, and it shouldn't be like, oh, hot fire the chef. That's not always like the first thing. A lot of times, the IWC and people in the world period likes to go to DEFCON 4 for things. I don't think that he needs to necessarily be on the way out, especially because WWE right now is a cash cow for TKO, the company, Endeavor, whatever the hell they want to be, because they have money issues. You got the whole goddamn mat in the ring looking like a race car with all these, Chime, Cash App, all this, and looking like y'all need a little bit of bread. And what Triple H is booking, whether we like it as wrestling fans, because it does seem like the business is focused more on the business part of wrestling business than the actual wrestling. So I feel like leave Triple H in. We just let him know he got a pow pow. That's like a manager firing, like your coworker or somebody in the union is like, you can't fire them because of that. Bring them on back. The people are upset. They're boycotting. We need you to come back, and I feel like that's what it was, and he needs to understand that. As I said, we had Naomi as the Money in the Bank winner. We still have storylines with Jade and Evolution is coming up, so let's give him some time to start developing. Now, I think he's had enough time to develop talent that is there, but now that he got the slap on the wrist, let's see what it is that he do. Sometimes you got to go through weathering and erosions to get to where you're supposed to be. So maybe that's what it is for Papa H for me. He don't really need to be out. Again, like David said, who's gonna run it? The Rock?
Well, here's the thing. I think two things could be true at the same time. I think that number one, what's going to end up happening is I think that Triple H might leave on his own. Because I think that frustration after frustration after frustration. Because the one thing we know for sure is the TKO and Endeavor is going to push as hard as they can. Okay, we know that for sure because they have to recoup the money they spent to buy the WWE. Now that means that they need the hardest product out there, and the problem is that we are, as we already know, people don't give a fuck when they losing money, right? When they not getting their bread back, they don't give a fuck. So what ends up happening is that I don't know. I think that they might push Triple H to that time that he might sit there and say, you know what, I need to go. I need to go. My talents would be better suited elsewhere. So I don't know what they're actually going to do in regards to him. I can only hope that they're going to, that give him the time to cook. But 18 months is a very short time to take a product from here to here. That's a very short time. Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel, I'm gonna give you the last word on that. So, Triple H, do you see that able to take the company to new heights if he has all the guardrails off?
Yeah, and he better. Viewership is down on the Netflix. You know what I mean? He needs to do something, and he got to do something fast. And I don't think doing it with Seth Rollins being your Money in the Bank winner is going to be it.
It ain't it. It ain't it. So okay. All right, moving on. Next one. So Tony Khan was interviewed this week, and he said that so he was asked, Tony, how do you feel about the WWE going up against all your main pay-per-views? And he says that it's not going to end. It's not going to end the way you think it's going to end. Random thoughts. What do you think he meant by that?
I'm just still piggybacking off of what I stated about the last thing with like a lot of the advertisements and the moves that the company that TKO is making. I too am a little exacerbated. I mean, this pay per view where we had Worlds Collide, which was on YouTube, and then Money in the Bank on Peacock, I was able. It was a little bit more palatable for me. I was able to salvage. But when it's like Saturday Night Main Event, Battleground, this, that, sometimes to me it takes away from the actual major pay-per-views. I like that they did Money in the Bank and the Intuit Dome because it made it seem like a separate, larger pay-per-view than us watching, the Raws on Netflix. What makes Raw from Netflix separate from Saturday night, main event, which makes it different from, this type of PLE. I think with them running them neck and neck, I get a little exhausted with it. I do. Let's make the things that are special, right? Of course, back in our day, we had the major fours. Of course, they have added things on since then, and then we had, PLEs, pay-per-views every month. However, I think sometimes it gets redundant, and which is why we feel like the storylines are stale. You
Right,
understand what I'm saying? So
right.
if they can do it in a way where make it special, of course, we already know that they really wanted to be Roman and Seth at WrestleMania, next year. So maybe this is why Seth has the Money in the Bank is to somehow tie Roman all into it before he goes off and ride off into the sunset and do what he does. But I don't think Tony Khan should focus on that. I think he needs to continue to take the talent that he has and try to. I think that's who needs the slap on the wrist and try to make something and mold something out of the clay and which that he has. You cannot sell me shit and call it gold. Okay, you can't do that. So we need it to be gold, and that's my opinion on that.
Big Daddy Cool. We was talking about um, Tony Khan saying that he's sick of that it's not going to end the way WWE wants it. That with their PLEs going up against his pay-per-views.
Well, I don't know what he means by that. And if he means by taking an L on the same day that they're running it, then by all means, then take the L because when you do run up against them, half the time you running up against NXT PLE, and you can't fuck with that. Um, I believe in the spirit of competition, and Tony Khan has to do what he has to do, and he has to do what's best for his business. But I
Right.
don't think what's best for his business is to constantly, continuously talk about WWE. He could have handled that in a much professional manner because you already have your own talent right now speaking out going against WWE, and it's just making y'all look stupid each and every goddamn time. And
Mm-hmm.
going back to what my partner says with Brandon, like I said to you last week too, yeah, it's the wrestling fatigue. It's like it's just too much going on at too many times.
Right.
It does take away from the special events, like when we have fucking when last like 2 weeks ago, you had Saturday Night Main Event and you had NXT, what is it, Battleground, and then 2 weeks later you got the the Worlds Collide and you have the Money in the Bank. And I mean, what's next? At the end of the month, you got what the Night of Champions is all too much, and then the storylines. It's not really. It's not compelling, if you would say, if I should say, right? And it's the summertime, right about now. You supposed to be heating up. All pun intended. You supposed to be heating up, and if you're not heating up, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna have less viewers because I'm gonna be outside. And if you ain't got something interesting for me to watch, I'm going the fuck outside. And that's all
Right.
I gotta say about that. And I don't give a goddamn if I got Netflix on my phone. I don't give a fuck if I got Sling on my phone and I could tap in and I could watch SmackDown.
SmackDown.
If you ain't got nothing for me to watch, and trust me, I don't play about my wrestling. I go anywhere. I'll open up that app. I was like, listen, I was at somewhere. I was like, listen, wrestling's on, okay? Gotta watch my wrestling. But
All right.
lately I haven't been doing that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I watched the whole Money in the Bank pay-per-view on mute. On mute. Same thing I did with what you call it. I have my back turned. I just sometimes I'm just not
So wait,
interested
so
no
you
more.
didn't get to hear the banter when Michael Cole and Barrett and McAfee was discussing the difference between Grande Americano and Jack Gable, and they was
Yeah,
talking about his nipple. That was funny.
yeah, no. I caught of that. I caught of that. And something else too. It was during a match, and it was like, well, you can't believe the internet. And then that's when I knew something's gonna happen.
All right.
What you mean you can't believe the internet?
All right. So I
What was your
think
thoughts? What was your thoughts on it, man? You didn't
I
have no
think you
thoughts
I
on it.
think you took I
No,
think
no, no. We want to hear your
no,
thoughts.
no, no. Fuck my thoughts. I want to move on. My
Oh,
thoughts
I'm
is
sorry. I was
more.
long-winded.
It was you guys said all there needs to be said on that. But I will say that Tony Khan needs to just put better storylines together, and he won't have to worry about the competition.
I,
Because but what?
I would like to add what I do like that's going on over there, and I think they should put their focus on Hangman, Will, Ospreay is that. This is what I'm saying, and Swerve. They need
I
Mhm.
said
another
this
guy.
months ago. I
They need
said this
another.
month.
They need
Those
one
are the
more guy, and they could have a full. They could have something going. They could have something going. I think that's a good storyline that's going on in wrestling right now.
All
That
right.
right there, and I give that to Tony Khan.
And the last thing I want to cover on this is the WWE, going back to WWE again, and this is also intertwining with AEW. WWE is now, when I say WWE, I mean obviously TKO, is possibly looking to renegotiate Roman Reigns' contract. Okay, you know, you
Believe
know,
half of what you hear and none of what you see, even if it's spat by me.
all right. So that I guess that's the Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel take on it. Now, we don't know if this is the case or not. So obviously we don't have any clue on that. But random thoughts, your thoughts on this,
I
if
mean,
this happens to be true.
they would like for us, if this is the case allegedly, they would like for us to believe it's about his appearances and its contracts about up to worth 15 million dollars, and is it really worth that? Especially because I think they're having financial issues again. I keep saying that because this is what it seems like it's going on. I feel like they should have renegotiated his contract when they had those negotiations. If he signed on to do this, you already knew what his schedule was going to be. You already knew what was going to happen. You knew you were going to be able to afford it. Once that man is on the bill, he can come out, he can say, acknowledge me. They can do 2 sets of fireworks, and it's worth everybody's money. So I think that Roman Reigns is worth the money. Now, are we moving into the era where we are creating new stars, just like before John Cena could step down? We had to have someone like a Roman Reigns in place. Right now, you have a lot of little, you have the water boiling with a lot of little people, but of course they want to toss it over to Cody Rhodes, right? But you have two shows, right? You have Saturday Night Main Event. You have them going to Saudi Arabia. They have all these events where you're going to need your faces of the product to be there. So I don't think that they should renegotiate Roman Reigns' contract. I think if anything, request them to be around more. You don't necessarily have to wrestle because if you're trying to be removed from a lot of the high risk maneuvers because you're getting older and you're still fighting an ailment, then that we understand that. But you can still be around. Stone Cold was injured and he didn't wrestle. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? So I don't think that they should renegotiate his contract. I
Big
think what
Daddy
they
Cool.
should consider is taking some of those goddamn things off the mats. That's
Big
ugly.
Daddy Cool. Well, that's what's actually bringing the money in, so they can't take anything off the mat. Big Daddy Cool.
Vince ain't never did that before.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in that. I just think that's just something that's just coming around in rumors only because the rumor of TKO possibly in debt, what it was about like $30 billion or something like that. Something about that. So I just think with everything that was going on, especially with our truth, uh possibly not renewing his contract, Carlito not renewing his contract, something going on with the Miz. That's just all something to talk about right now, and it's just something like saying, "Oh, what the fuck WWE is going? What's going on over there at WWE?" That's just to look at them negatively right now, and we're not. Only thing negative that we should be thinking about with WWE is their storylines. That's it. I'm not concerned with what's going on with their contracts. When that time comes and I don't see Roman Reigns anymore, then that's when I'll start going in an uproar.
All right.
Like no, I'm not done. Just like
All
Brandon
right.
said, also, I would like to see him around more in doing more roles. He don't have to necessarily wrestle, but we could see him do other things with talents, up and coming talents. Yeah,
You triggered something in my thought process. I was gonna say it earlier in the show, but now, what if all of these things is the new version of kayfabe? Right? Like, what if this is WWE? Remember, we spoke about it. I think it was at the top of this season, and we were talking about the different ways like they use the social media, right? Because what really carried the Jade and Naomi's rivalry wasn't so much of what they did on screen. It was like the Twitter beefs back and forth, even when our Truth and other people was released, and Naomi saying, "I wish it was you." You understand what I'm saying? Like, what if all of these things using the internet and the rumors leaking and stuff is their new version of kayfabe?
they found ways on how to use the internet, use social media.
To push
I
the
think
stories, yeah, more.
I think
Even
that
leaks,
can
things like
possibly be
leaks.
true because like I could see. I'm sorry, man. I know you're getting a little. I could what like because like what if right like how you say right they're using this on social media. So what if the Triple H the Rock thing that creates another civil war? You know what I mean? Divide the company.
Where is he at? Over here. Yeah,
That could
yeah.
I
be
think
something.
I think that you guys really, really would be giving TKO to WWE a lot of credit for that. To do that. I think that's
What
gonna be
what what do they say? Let's turn real situations into real money.
Stories. Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
but
Them
Mm-hmm.
real stories is gonna make real money, big money at that.
but the thing is that in order for that for me to see that as a possibility, that would mean that everyone's in on it. And I think that that's a little tough to accomplish because only for the simple fact that in this day and age, things are very hard to keep as a secret, right? Like it's just in the world we live in terms of professional wrestling.
They could be behind the scenes, low key, filming this shit as a documentary right now. You don't
Well, they are.
know.
They
This is
probably
the
are.
this is the reason why Triple H didn't mention The Rock in his goddamn Hall of Fame speech. Oh, yeah, this bald head fuck. This is The Rock talking about another bald head fuck. He even mentioned me in his speech. Me and we never got along. We always hated each other. And then you got Jonathan Coachman running the stories. Yeah, they always had beef. They always had some type of tension, even since back in the day. Listen, this is all. You know what? Yeah, I just got. I'm getting a little hyped again. Let me take a little sip.
All right.
I'm
So,
hitting stories.
all right. So, nonetheless,
The soaps
other
is
than
getting
that,
good.
Damn,
The
my
soaps
writing
are
is
getting
good.
good. The soap operas. That's what it's like.
what,
Remember, our grandparents used to
what,
love the
what,
soaps. Soaps.
ah, ah, mm-mm, mm-mm,
Take it to the head.
mm-mm.
I'm in the house.
Well, thank God on that. All right. So, we're done. I'm done. All right. That's all I got for the evening.
All
What?
right. Well, our next segment, and we got a lot of
What
feedback
about
about it.
carrying cross?
Mm-mm.
What about him? Him not renewing his contract? Should he be pushed? Should he have been in the Money in the Bank match and won the Money in the Bank? That would have been a better choice, better than Seth Rollins.
They said he got one foot out the door. They haven't approached him about resigning his renewing his contract. But even if that happens, I think with that we'll have another
Drew
Ron Tiller
McIntyre.
situation.
I think he'll be more like Drew McIntyre. He can go and come back again. He can go. He can go to TNA. He can go fight all over the world. He got a book. He got a,
Dude,
signed a book deal.
he's he's super over right now. If they hear that y'all did not re-sign that man's contract, renew that man's contract, they're gonna go into uproar. There's already signs in the goddamn arena. Push carrying
Push
cross.
cross. I've seen him. I've
And
seen him.
maybe
Mhm.
he'll turn him. This is where he goes to Killer Cross. Ron Killings, Killer Cross. They cross path. Oh, cross path. Killings.
They
It
star
goes hand in
cross.
hand. It goes hand in hand. I'm telling you. I can see. I booked it already in my head. Killer Cross. See, Killer Cross rolls over here. Oh, it worked, huh? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. What you mean, it worked, dog? You don't know nothing about my story.
Has Ron ever
Oh,
been seen talking in the back to Killer Cross?
I'm not sure. We're gonna have to.
Gonna have
Mm.
to, wait and see. Right? What's the next segment? Random thoughts.
Our next segment is, like I said, critically acclaimed. We got a lot of feedback about it with people who thinking who it is that we nominate and should nominate. It is, of course, the Mr. and Mrs. Perfect award that we give out to people we feel like, they didn't really get their flowers. They didn't get a title belt. They didn't get the credit it is that they deserve when it comes to the world of professional wrestling. So, fellas, who is it you would like to nominate? Our last week nomination, he back at it like the crack addict. So, who would you guys like to nominate this week?
Hmm.
Oh, oh, I know who I'm nominating.
Good.
I'm nominating Naomi.
Oh, good. That's good. That's good. That's a good one. I ain't gonna hold you. Last week, I had somebody else, and then when you said yours, I went with yours, and I think now you know what Naomi is acclaimed and she's accredited. Damn, I don't, that's a good one. That's a real. I think I'm gonna go with. I was watching Halloween Havoc the other night. I was watching Halloween Havoc, and this guy he was the referee here too, and I realized how important it is. Like he is to the wrestling business, and it's Charles Robinson,
I
Little
knew he was
Nate.
on. I knew he was on.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
go with Little Nate, Charles Robinson. I'm gonna nominate him.
I feel like if like when Sean Robinson go, who the hell are we gonna have?
I don't even know how they gonna build the ring with him not there. I don't know how. I don't know.
My,
I don't
my
even want to think about that. Mash out. Who do you nominate
I'm
for the
I'm
Mr.
I'm gonna go with Austin Theory. Uh,
Oh, wow.
yes, yes,
Oh,
because
this
I
is a tough
watched
week
the
for him.
interview with John Cena,
Mm.
and John Cena discussed his match against Austin Theory at WrestleMania 39. And he said that he said to him, "You got the looks, but you're just not entertaining." And he said that he told him that on the phone, and he told him that in person, right? And I mean, outside of his character, I mean, he's doing the best he can under the circumstance, right? Because at the end of the day, he's not giving much. He's just supposed to be like a goofy heel. So I'm gonna go with Austin Theory this week.
All right, so that's who you're voting for the Mr. Of course, we now have to vote. You can vote for who it is you want to vote for by raising your hand. You guys at home that are either listening or watching, you can sit in your chair wherever you at and vote if you like as well. So we want to start with, of course, ladies first with Naomi. Who wants to vote for Naomi?
I
Aye. So that's two. All right. Who would like to vote for Little Nate? Charles Robinson. Aye. Damn, that's two again. All right. Who would like to vote for Austin Theory? Aye, again. Damn, that's two. We had a whole
That
tie
was
now. We
three.
need a tiebreaker. Now we can only vote once. Again,
I vote
Naomi.
for
Go
Austin
ahead.
Theory too.
No, no, then he
So
would know. Then
Austin
he would
wins
be the
then.
winner.
Then he wins,
Yeah,
yeah.
Austin wins.
You voted for Austin, D?
Yeah.
All right, so Austin Theory wins. That is the winner
Oh,
of
oh,
Wow of the Mr. Perfect
oh, that's how
Award
that
this week.
works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's majority rules.
Oh wow, we've been playing this whole time.
Yeah, maybe because I ain't explained the goddamn rules, bro. Yeah, so
you
that's the winner of the award, Austin
you see,
Theory.
I could have
This is
sworn
for
you.
you. Hopefully, you are not on the next release list with Killer Cross. and that you do deserve the Mr. slash Mrs. Perfect
I do,
award.
I do, I do have one question with Austin Theory, and then I don't want to prolong. I know we're going the rest of the week.
Hmm.
Is Austin Theory the modern day Buff Bagwell?
He's Buff Bagwell and Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, because he is from Atlanta, so
Hmm.
he will be
He's
the
Buff
modern day
Bagwell and
Buff
Dolph Ziggler.
Bag.
I think he's a little bit more
I
athletic
wouldn't
than
put.
Buff
Well,
Bagwell.
yeah. Okay. See, that's why I would say. Okay, I could see why you put him with a mixture of Dolph Ziggler because of the athleticism. So yeah,
Hmm.
I see that. Yeah. I really hope that I'm hoping for good things for Austin Theory. I would like to see him stride on and become something bigger than what he
He
is.
should at least win the world champion, the belt that Jay Uso has, at least once or twice. At least once
Yeah,
or
I
twice. Austin Theory should have that title.
I could see him winning the championship and it's like on some underdog winning shit, and I could see it like I kind of wanted to be like a, but then I
Mm.
kind of wanted to be like a finally yes moment. You know what I mean? And it's another thing too. I
Like the Dolph
think Tri-
Cash in.
I think Triple H really do need to pick it up where he left off with the stories that that was that was untold,
mm,
Mm.
right? Then maybe we'll get some satisfaction and within your fans. So it's like whatever happened with fucking Chad Gable was supposed to be going for what? He was supposed to get the Intercontinental title. He didn't get that, but then we thought he was gonna get the world title. What happened with that? It's just so many untold stories here, and it's like when the fuck are you going to finish those stories?
right.
Or we still going with the theme of finish your story? Because listen, I don't know if you know, I really don't like to fucking read, but okay, and y'all take it
It's
too fucking
fundamental
long.
though.
So well, sometimes I fall asleep in like the third chapter.
That's understandable. That's understandable.
Yeah, B.
Next thing is not to be confused with our wrestler of the week, where we don't vote. This is just it's been a lot of wrestling all across all promotions going on just throughout the week, fellas. Who is your wrestler of the week? And you can say why, you cannot say why. Also, you guys listening and tuning in, make sure that you comment who your wrestler of the week is or who you think should be nominated for the Mr. Perfect Award. We'd appreciate that very much. We may have something special for you if you do so. So, fellas, I'm gonna start out with D, I think you went first last time, so I'm gonna start out with Mash Out. Who is your wrestler of the week?
Dominic Mysterio.
Okay. Is he always your wrestler of the
Yeah,
week?
Dominic, the greatest luchador of all time. Okay, Dominic Mysterio. He definitely showed out. He did his thing this week. I did enjoy the match. Congratulations again for him for winning. And he did his thing. All right, that's you got me.
Solid Diesel, who's your wrestler of the week?
Oh, Solo, man,
Solo
Solo, yeah.
Sokoa. That's a
That's a
good one.
great choice. That's
That's
actually a
a
great
really,
choice.
really, really good choice. I'm going to go with this. I think for the first time ever, I think mine is in black, blackish. I'm gonna go with Stephanie Vakir. I'm gonna
Mm,
go with her.
That
She
was my
she
kind of my runner up.
Like she was in a match, wasn't it? What they was in a match on SmackDown. She wrestled at Worlds Collide, not to mention, and then wrestled later on at Money in the Bank and put on a phenomenal showing. So she's gonna be my wrestler of the week. Once again, guys, make sure that all great wrestlers of the week: Solo Sokoa, Stephanie Vakir, and of course the number one luchador in the world, that is Tom and Nick Mysterio.
I would like this. I would like to add so I would like to also add to like I believe that the women's ladder Money in the Bank match was kind of safe. It was playing it safe because I think they have a lot. I feel like the women always getting injured. Something always going on with the women. We just seen what happened with Zoe Starks. Maybe she had a successful surgery. Hope she
Hmm.
get well soon.
Speedy
Speedy
recovery.
recovery. And yeah, I just felt like it was a lot of safe shit going on because we got to see the evolution, right? And we got to see
Hmm.
them evolve to get to evolution. So I like to just point that.
I mean, just to add to it, I feel like just like the same thing we say with the blacks, right? The women are kind of like considered a subdivision, even though they're not. They're moving merch. The louder meter, whatever that is, the sound goes crazy when mommy comes out. Rhea Ripley, they're getting reaction. So I think they're just like considered a subculture within the business, and they always feel like that they're fighting for the main spot or to be tweeted about, or because these are the indicators that professional wrestling WWE is using nowadays. So maybe that's probably what it is, why they like being safe, because they used to going hard. And then if you hurt, then we're gonna have to see, Natalia and Maxine Dupree instead of,
Yeah.
Stephanie Valkyria and Julia and all those people. With that being said, we're gonna go into our final thoughts, fellas. It's been an amazing show. We covered the PLEs. We talked about what was in professional wrestling in this week. What are your final thoughts that you want to leave with the people? Then,
Uh, you know what? Positive over negative. It's and I'm excited to see what is our truth going to do this week.
That's a good one. Savadi, you got any final words?
Man. Um, Listen, you only should be negative if it's your blood type. Okay? So put some positivity in the world, and we going on with peace and love. Love you all. And I'll see you on the next one.
My final thought would be a short and sweet, a random thought. Don't be invisible, be invincible. And that's the final thought, the Brandom Thought of the day. I'm Brandom Thoughts. That's Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel. That's the Mash Out King. This is the Three Amigos
Oh,
podcast show. You know where to
that's
follow us. It's
that's the match out
DATHREE.
king.
Amigos, AMIGOS. And you can follow us on social media, or you can email us at the Three Amigos Show Podcast with the number one behind it at gmail.com. From all of us here at the Three Amigos Show, y'all have a great week. Stay cool, I guess, if it's going to be hot wherever you are in the world. Thank you for listening to us. Adios, amigos.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Thank you.